Hello and welcome to another Gran Turismo 7 tune setup, once again a speed tune in particular, and this particular vehicle that we're going for is, I believe, going to be a hugely popular one. It's already popular in the game, and that is of course the Corvette 6th generation, the C6 ZR-1 in particular. It's not the craziest in terms of power, but what it can do in terms of performance is very, very strong. It's easily up there with stuff like some of the GTR level machines, not necessarily quite as quick as something like a Nismo or a Huayra, but it can definitely compete with that kind of stuff. It's great to see it back as well. As far as the body upgrades in the GT Auto Center, you can kind of tell just then from in the garage, I haven't really done that much to it. So I haven't done a body kit, I haven't done the wing. If you want to give that a try, by all means go for it. You could, for example, try taking the ducktail wing off. You could give it a wide body, see if it makes it more stable in your opinion. Obviously, if you upgrade the rims, you can technically set the track wider as well, also potentially giving you more stability. So by all means, if you want to give that a try, then do so. I've focused on the internal stuff though. So in the understeer engineering even section of the game, first of all, we've got the sports area. Most of this, obviously, you don't need to do because we're going for racing stuff, but you do want the stage 1 weight reduction. For the club sports, you want the bored-out engine, the high-lift cams. Then for this level, we've got stage 2 weight. As I always like to do, I've fitted the power restrictor for if I ever need it, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. We've got the racing crank, the computer, of course. We have the fully customizable diff. Once again, the stage 3 weight for that section. As far as the racing stuff, we've got the balancing, the port polish, the high-end supercharger, the racing intercooler to go with that. The air filter and the silencer for the exhaust are also race spec, of course. You can go for, as I've said before, either the racing brakes or the carbon ceramics, but depending on which one you want to go for, you know, it's just personal preference, and the racing discs are technically cheaper. The pads, obviously, you want racing spec as well. We've got the racing exhaust manifold, the fully customizable suspension, the racing clutch with the flywheel. The stage 4 weight you can't do here. I know some of the wheel spin things can give you bonus parts that you can't usually get, but I'm not using any of that in my tunes. The fully customizable transmission, of course, is essential. I've gone for racing softs, as I always like to do, but that's down to you. I have not fitted the Ness yet, because for my tune it's not necessary. Obviously, if you do fit Ness, which I would recommend, then of course you're going to be going even quicker. As I said, I've gone for the carbon ceramics, as I usually do, and the hydraulic handbrake, just to give it that bit more snap-around maneuverability if the car gets hit by another player or, you know, for whatever reason if I have to use the handbrake. So that's it for the individual parts that I've fitted. Then if we jump back into the garage menu and go to the tuning section of the game, once that loads up, of course, we already said racing soft tyres. For the suspension, we've got the ride height on 100mm, which is basically what it goes to anyway when you fit the racing suspension. Anti-roll is as high as it can go, likewise with both the compression and the expansion on the dampers. The frequency is on 2.3 and 2.5. The camber is 1.5 on the front, then 3, quite a lot more on the back. Neutral toe, not surprisingly. For the diff, I've increased the initial torque, if I recall correctly, to 30, so about halfway, then 40 and 20. As far as the Ness, like I said, I haven't fitted it, but if you do, I would recommend going up to 50, which is better power rather than endurance. For the gearbox, you want 450 kilometers an hour, or at least that's what I'm using. Then for the individual gears, 2.6, 1.7, 1.2, 0.9, 0.7, and 0.6 with a final drive of 3. And of course, in a second, you'll see what that can actually do out on the track. But for now, that's, of course, going to be what we're going with. As far as the downforce, as I said, I've left it stock visually, so there's no change there. And for the rest, that is all fitted or not fitted, whatever the case may be. Handbrake, steering angle, all that kind of stuff. So that's it for the tune itself. Now, of course, we'll take it out onto Route X to see what it can do. Now, one of the great things, of course, about this car as well, as you can see here from this event, is because it's an American road car, you can actually use it in the Clubman 700 event on Route X in career mode. So you can actually use it to earn a little bit more cash than you would in the usual kind of custom events. So you don't even just have to use it online. You can definitely use this one in career, earn a little bit of extra cash if you want to, dead easy. And it is technically one of the quickest American cars you can get in the game. So it's great to see that the ZR1 is once again a force to be reckoned with, up there with the Viper. In terms of its performance, of course it always depends on stuff like the wind direction on this track, and it makes a massive difference. Overall though, in my experience with the wind behind you, you can cruise up around 268 quite comfortably, and that is in 5th gear. So once you jump up into 6th gear, that of course is prime for nitrous and for slipstream or drafting. So you can easily get this car over the 280, probably over 290 to be honest. I haven't even fully reached its limits yet. So in other words, it's more than quick enough to take on the vast majority of other road cars in the game. It won't beat everything, you know, GTRs and Huayras and Veyrons are still going to give it a good run for its money, but a lot of other cars, certainly of the sub 1000 horsepower level, are going to have a tough time beating a C6 ZR1. So it's a fantastic choice of car, I think. The value for money is great on this thing as well. So ultimately, if you decide to use this tune or put your own little twist on it, which is of course the whole point, I hope you have a ton of fun with it. And of course, stick around on the channel for more tunes, and these playlists that you can see on the screen here will direct you around here on the channel to my other GT7 content, including more tunes like this. So until next time, I'll see you then. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.